Hello Leo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Leo, let's jump on in. We're going to start with looking at your recent past. This is recent past for Leo. What has Leo been dealing with in the recent past? Recent past for Leo, please. Whoa. You have watch for signs and mystery. This mystery card is the dark side of the moon card. So this is definitely an energy of feeling a little bit lost and definitely asking. I feel like you've been kind of asking for guidance or asking for signs or asking for direction. Like I definitely feel like you've kind of felt like you've been in the dark. I don't necessarily know what happened to put you here. You know, we'll definitely get more on the story when we dive into tarot. But it's interesting because you have dark side of the moon and then you have follow the moon. So I feel like you're trying to figure out, or have been trying to figure out, like what the right path is for you, what the right steps are, but maybe feeling as if that path hasn't been completely revealed, or you know, wondering, like maybe you know what the path is, but you're maybe afraid to take the step, or you don't see how it could be possible or something like that. And I feel like this watch for signs card is very much this indication that you are being guided through this. But I feel like, you know, a lot of times when we're kind of in the dark, when we're in the unknown, when the answers aren't clear, like that's where a lot of the growth really happens. If we just always had the answers and always knew what the right next step is for us, we wouldn't ever really learn or evolve in any way. So I feel like whatever this period of your life was, even if you are still in it, I do feel like it is happening for a reason for you in some way. Now, if you watch my channel, then you know that I am a firm believer in everything happens for a reason as long as we're willing to find that reason. So that's probably not a surprise to hear me say that, but let's dive in a little bit further. Leo, where is Leo at now? This is for Leo's current energy. And maybe you're still feeling a little bit lost, feeling a little bit uncertain about your direction in some way, or maybe even feeling a little bit directionless, like not really knowing where to even go from here. Current energy for Leo. You have celebration. Interesting. Okay. Then you have take a risk. And then you have abundance, but courage. So there is a path that is opening up for you, or that is available for you, but it's going to, or is requiring you to take some sort of risk. And you're needing to tap into a deeper level of courage here. But seeing this abundance and celebration, I feel like this is where this path is trying to take you. So whatever this is talking about, it's almost like this is the path for you. I don't know, like this is the right path, this is what's meant for you in a way, but I don't know, it's requiring you to take some sort of a risk. And I feel like maybe that's where the holdup is you're like, well, what if I fail? Or what if it leads to nowhere? Or what if it, you know, there's a million what ifs, right? For anything, and a million ways that we can think about things going wrong, but you know, there's also a million ways we can think about things going right. So it's interesting because I feel like this is almost the path out of this darkness here, out of this energy of feeling very lost. I don't know if this path is all that clear for you yet, though. But yeah, it's something that's requiring you to take a risk. You're being asked to take a risk at this time, but it's good. It's going to lead you to good stuff here with celebration and abundance. So I'm going to keep going. What does Leo need to know moving forward? Immediate future for Leo. What can Leo expect? Should they take this risk? What does Leo need to know about it? Let's just see what we've got here. Immediate future for Leo. Process your feelings. Shadow work. The past. This is about not letting the past hold you back. Yeah, because there's embrace uncertainty. So here's what I'm gathering. I feel like you took some sort of risk in the past that didn't work out. And maybe that's what kind of led you into this energy of feeling really lost, feeling really unsure, not really knowing where to go. And I feel like you're now being presented with an opportunity of some sort to take another risk. But I feel like you're afraid that things are going to turn out like they did in the past. And I feel like that's why it's so important to process through your feelings, take everything as it comes, but don't allow the outcomes of your past to dictate your future movements. Now, what I mean about that is, like, I'm not saying don't learn anything from your past, just try, jump back into old cycles. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Every time something doesn't work, or there's a failure or a setback or a loss or whatever the case might be, there's always something that we are being pushed to learn, grow, heal from in some way. And whatever it is that we learn, however we grow, however we heal, we're needing to take that and move forward, knowing that, like, we have more knowledge. We're in a better place. We're more capable of making better decisions for ourselves. So it's not just saying, like, do the same thing over and over again, expect a different result. It's saying take what you've learned into, like, trying again in some way. If at first you don't succeed, try again, right? Like, it's not, don't let your failure or your loss be a destination. Use it as a stepping stone. And I feel like that's what this is really asking you to do as you move forward on whatever path this is. Because whatever the right path is for you, it does require you to take a risk, but I feel like because of what you've been through in the past, you maybe have a lot of reasons to second guess it, or to doubt it, or doubt yourself, or doubt your ability to be successful in it, or to find what you desire through it, like whatever, however that resonates for you. But I feel like whatever this is, it's like, it's the right thing for you. But I feel like the worst thing you can do is allow your past to get in the way, in a sense. Let's get you the overall theme for this reading. Goodness, I feel like my table's all kinds of messed up today. All right, overall theme of this reading for Leo. This cloth that I'm using to cover my table in, it attracts so much dog hair. And we have 4 dogs, so I feel like it's always covered in dog hair. All right, overall theme of this reading for Leo. What does Leo need to know? One more. Okay. Good fortune. That's what this message is about. It's like you're trying to be guided, your spiritual team. Yeah, because there's trust. Your spiritual team, your intuition is trying to lead you toward good fortune here. Because this is the second time we're seeing, like, mean, because in this watch for sign card, like these kind of carry, this watch for signs and this message here, this kind of carries the same energy for me in a sense, where it's like, I feel like your guides, your spiritual team, your spiritual connection of your own understanding, whatever that looks like, are trying to lead you somewhere where the outcome is very abundant. But I feel like you have a lot of reasons not to trust that something's going to work out in your favor. And I feel like the reason that you believe that is because of what you've experienced in the past. I feel like your past is the biggest thing that could hold you back at this time. And I think that, again, you know, if you've learned what you've needed to, and like you have this new tools or new knowledge or new wisdom or new understanding or whatever the case is, like you can take that and use that to do things differently, you know, to create success in some way. Like what I can kind of see this as, and I'm not saying this is what happened, but this is like the energy that's coming through is like, say that you started a business of some sort, and while in that business, like it was your first time doing it, you didn't have a lot of knowledge about what was going on, how to handle money or any of the legal stuff, and something happened and the business failed. But you learned, now it's like you learned what you needed to now take what you learned, and maybe there's another business that you're wanting to start, or maybe it's like starting that business again but in a different capacity, or doing it in a way that can avoid, you know, the things that got you into trouble in the past, like whatever the case might be. That's what I'm trying to explain, is it's not, oh, just try again, you know, completely disregarding all that you've learned or completely disregarding your past experience. And that's why I said I felt like this happened for a reason. It was like to teach you something, to give you tools or knowledge, or like I don't know. And now you have what you need to then move forward in a way that's going to lead you to this good fortune, as long as you don't let your past hold you back. Okay. Anyway, I feel like I've repeated that a lot. I'm also trying to make sense of these cards as we go. Remember, it's kind of like putting together a puzzle. All right. Past energy here for Leo. Does Leo need to know about recent past? Okay, Wheel of Fortune in reverse with the Justice, the Hermit. So yes, something went very, very wrong here. Very, very wrong. And I feel like, yeah, because there's the Five of Cups, there's the Three of Swords, and then you have the Seven of Swords. You were thrown into the unknown, thrown into the darkness. And I feel like this was something like you really felt like this was for you, and you were like, you know, doing what you could to try to make it work, but then hit some sort of a bump in the road, some sort of an obstacle, some sort of a challenge. And I feel like now you're, or ever since this happened, maybe you've been doing a lot of grieving, a lot of healing, a lot of like picking up the pieces of something that didn't work. Now this Hermit card is this need to really look within. You know, I talk often on this channel about taking accountability for the role that we play in our life, even if that doesn't mean that we're always at fault for the things that happen to us. Like always being willing to look at how in some way we can learn, grow, heal, evolve to, you know, do things differently next time so that we don't repeat old cycles. And I feel like I'm speaking to a collective that has taken what has happened to them and they've tried to learn from it. Especially with this Justice card and the Hermit card, like justice to me is about accountability. You know, the Hermit really going within, shining a light on like deeper truths, things of that nature. And I think that, you know, when we recognize the role that we play and things not working out or things falling apart, I think that immediately, just because we're human, we have a tendency to jump straight to like guilt and shame and regret. and focus on all of the ways that we feel like we're absolute failures and we're never going to get anywhere in life. At least for me. That's I have a tendency to really jump all the way to that guilt and shame mentality. And I've learned that doesn't really ever get us anywhere. And a lot of times we don't really have anything to be ashamed of, because we are literally here on this earth to grow, to heal, to evolve, like to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. So I don't know if necessarily you made a mistake or if you feel like you could have handled things better. Or if, like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of accountability you've taken in this. But you need to know that you didn't necessarily do anything wrong. Now, what I mean by that is just because you could have been better or you could have done things different doesn't mean you didn't make the right decisions for you to learn something in some way, for you to now take what you've learned and move forward with that knowledge, right? So don't get stuck. This is kind of a side message. Don't get stuck in guilt and shame, and don't allow your ego to trick you into believing that because you've made mistakes, that means you're unworthy of success or of love or of good fortune, and whatever sense that might mean for you. Because fortune isn't always about material possession, right? Love, peace, joy, like all of those are things that we can be very fortunate to experience. But I do definitely feel like this was a very painful experience for you. But I also feel like it's setting you up for something good. I've really learned that some of the hardest things in our life can lead us to some of the best things in our life. Now, that doesn't mean that we just always need to be grateful for the crappy things in our life, okay? Because, crappy things are what they are. They're crappy things. But we can always take, in some way, take something positive from those experiences and transmute it into something positive. That's how we become the alchemist of our life, right? We take the things that have happened to us, we take the negative experiences, and we transmute them into positive experiences. So I think that, regardless of what you've been through, regardless of mistakes you've made or of, the trauma that you hold or the things that you've been through, like, it's important for you to remember that you have never, nothing that is meant for you will ever pass you, and you have never lost or missed out on your opportunity to be successful, happy, loved, to experience the life that you truly desire. Sometimes it can feel like that, and sometimes we have a lot to learn from in those moments, but you have never lost your opportunity to experience the things that you wish to experience in this life. And I think that it's really, really important that you know that, because again, right now in your current energy, you're being asked to really take a risk again. And I feel like there's a lot about that maybe makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Current energy for Leo, which is completely understandable, especially if you're talking about a relationship and you really opened yourself up and you ended up getting hurt. It's hard to be willing to really open yourself up again, right? But take what you learned, right? It's like, well, I should have set stronger boundaries, or I should have seen the red flags. And now you know what to look out for. Now you know what red flags to look out for. Now you know the sign. And I'm not saying that that's exactly what it is. And that's, again, why I'm not saying that, I'm certainly not saying that it is your fault what has happened to you. But we can always take accountability for our role in some way. And we can use that to make different decisions moving forward. Because if we don't ever change our approach, if we don't change our decisions, if we don't change our behavior, if we don't change our mindset, we often get stuck in just experiencing the same thing over and over again. That's when you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, right? So that's not what this is talking about. This is talking about taking what you've learned and letting it take you further. Current energy for Leo. Courage with take a risk here. Two of Cups in reverse. I feel like you've been very disconnected from yourself. The Two of Cups in reverse definitely, there's the Five of Wands, represents going through the motions. Why is there so much reversed energy here? The Ace of Swords. Ooh, but there's a breakthrough. So you've kind of been this energy of going through the motions again, maybe picking up the pieces a little bit. And maybe you've even gotten yourself stuck in the mindset that, well, if that didn't work out, or if I couldn't be happy in that way, that must mean that I can never be happy. Or since success didn't come in that way, that must mean that I will never be successful. And I think that that is the number one way that we can keep ourselves from what it is that we truly deserve, is by looking at our experience as a, final destination. Loss and failure and lack are never destinations, merely just an indication that you're still in the middle of a journey. So right now, I feel like you're really being asked to cut through the static of, and this is not easy, okay? And I don't want it to sound like I'm saying that this is easy, but cut through the static of what has happened and try to look at it from a different perspective. I feel like that's what this Ace of Swords is really talking about. It's gaining a deeper sense of clarity that is outside of the perspective that you've been holding. Because, a lot of, think about any successful person. Any successful person out there, whether it's in love or in business or whatever the case is, has failed at some point in their life, most likely multiple times, has failed in relationships, has failed in their career, whatever the case might be, and they've picked themselves back up, and they've taken steps trying again, right? And I think that it's hard when you try over and over again and you seem to get stuck or to fail, or, things don't really work out the way that you planned. And sometimes we can get it in our head that this must mean that this is all that I'm meant to experience. And it's so important that you know that that isn't the case. Because right now, I do feel like there is some sort of a path or an opportunity opening up for you. However, with the Five of Wands, you might be inclined to resist it or push it away in some way, because naturally you're trying to protect yourself from getting hurt the way that you have in the past. And that is completely understandable. But if you never try, you'll never know, right? If you never put yourself out there, you'll never know. If you never take the risk, you'll never know, right? And I feel like this is almost as if you are being very divinely guided to take some sort of risk, and you're being asked to really believe that it will pay off in some way. Again, you probably have a ton of reasons not to believe me when I say that, but that's why in your future energy, not all of the Leos in this collective is going to take the risk, okay? A lot of you are, going to allow the past to hold you back, and I want you to know that is okay, okay? What I have said time and time again in my readings, and I've said it in this reading, and I'll continue to say it, you will never miss out on the opportunity to experience the life that you truly desire. You will make mistakes, stay in old cycles, repeat old behaviors as many times as you need to break out of those. But that does not mean that you have missed out on anything. And I think that regardless of how many times you think that you have failed, or you think that, things haven't worked out, and I don't blame you for this, okay? You probably have a lot of reasons to be like, I don't want to try again. I'm so tired of getting hurt. I'm so tired of being let down or disappointed, or whatever the case is. What if this next time is the time? What if this next path, this next opportunity, what if this is what finally leads you to where you're meant to be? Maybe it won't be, right? Maybe it won't. Maybe you'll need to learn something from that, and maybe, whatever. But maybe it is, right? And I think that that's what's really helped me a lot in my journey, is that I've learned that our life can quite literally change in a very short amount of time. But the second that we give up on the idea that our life can change for the better is the second that we decide to accept the life we're currently in. And that is the hardest lesson that I've ever learned, because there was a time in my life where my whole life fell apart, and I was like, well, then screw this. If pursuing my passions and trying to do good in the world and whatever, if that's going to lead to failure, then why even try? And I got really angry at the universe for a while, and I fell back into old patterns and my safety mechanisms, and I needed to do that, because then I learned I don't really like it here either. And I decided to put myself out there again, to try again. Some of you have even brought this up on this channel. I actually used to have an old channel back in 2019, 2020 time. I actually started a tarot channel, and the channel itself didn't fail, but I started realizing that the messages that I were delivering, I was very much focused on your person is coming back messages, twin flame messages. I realized that those weren't really helping anybody, including myself, and I needed to experience some things on my own journey to come back to tarot at a time when things were a little bit more clear for me. And for a long time, I looked at it as like I failed, or, I thought I was being led to something and it was wrong for me. But then I was led right back to it, and I was so terrified when I started this channel. It's in November 15th. It'll be 2 years since I started this channel. And 2 years ago, when I made the decision to start the channel, it took me like 3 months to actually do it because I was so scared of failure and of my past repeating. But I had learned so much from that experience that I took that knowledge and I applied it into this channel. And then it grew even bigger than it had in the past, like even quicker. So I think that what I'm trying to get at with this story, and obviously not everyone's path is the same, though I am a Leo. I do have Leo quite a bit in my chart, but I am a Leo sun. We can either allow the things that have happened to us to determine who we become, or we can learn from them in some way and become whoever we decide that we want to be. And I feel like that's what you're really being asked to do in some way, and it's not easy. I know how not easy it is. All right, what does Leo need to know moving forward? You didn't fail. You learned. You didn't lose. You healed. I've learned that, that kind of reframe doesn't downplay your experience. That's not the goal of it. It helps you just kind of look at it from this perspective of, oh, that did happen for a reason. Oof, but you're being asked to have an open mind and an open heart in a way that you never really have before. You have the Queen of Swords with the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups to me speaks of like wish fulfillment. But oh my gosh, there's the Tower in reverse. I feel like for some reason, Leo, you're really, really avoiding taking some sort of a leap of faith here. Because there's the Chariot and there's the Three of Wands. I feel like you're being pushed. The universe is really pushing you out of your comfort zone in some way, or is asking you to step out of your comfort zone. And I feel like naturally you are avoiding that. And the reason that I feel like these messages are coming out this way is I feel like, here's what I've learned. The universe will never allow us to settle in places where we're not meant to settle. So when we're in jobs that don't serve us, or in relationships that aren't, in alignment with our worth or in alignment with what we truly deserve, the universe will throw tower moments and problem after problem and obstacle after challenge our way to get us to move, to get us to make a different decision for us, for ourselves. And I think that sometimes we see it as like, oh, my life is falling apart or nothing is ever working out. But a lot of times what it is the universe actually saying, this isn't where you belong. You deserve so much better. You deserve so much more. So I ask that I feel like you're being asked to really open your mind and your heart to, I don't know if it's like trying again or to trying something new or to putting yourself back out there in some way, but you're really being asked to do it and to trust that this time will be different as long as you've taken what you learned from the past and you apply it moving forward. Because if you think about it, if you learn from your mistakes, you're not going to make those mistakes again. And the mistakes that led to those outcomes means that if you're not going to make those mistakes, then those outcomes aren't going to happen. That's why I'm such a fan of taking accountability for the role that we play in our own suffering, because that's the only thing that you have control over. The only thing you have control over is your movements, choices, and decisions, and how you respond to what happens to you. And again, we can either allow what happens to us to determine who we are, who we become, or we can decide who we want to become, and we can allow what happens to us to be some sort of lesson to get us there. And I feel like the universe is saying there is a path that is available for you that can lead to your wish fulfillment. Absolutely. Like, I feel like whatever this risk is, it's like, yes, this is meant for you. But I feel like there are a lot of limiting beliefs that are holding you back because of your past experiences. that are actually keeping you from the fortune that you were looking for in the first place. So I feel like it might feel a little bit unfair being asked to take a risk or to put yourself out there. You might be like, but I've been through so much. I don't want to, I don't want to hurt like that, or I don't want to fail, or I don't want to, whatever the case might be. But again, if you've learned from your past experiences, then you're not going to experience those same outcomes, because you're not going to act the same way. If the cycle truly is closed, then it doesn't need to repeat, right? So I don't know. I feel like this is like definitely a don't give up on your ability to be happy, loved, successful, abundant, whatever the case is, regardless of what you've been through. And allow yourself to move forward with the courage to believe that this good fortune, these things that you desired, that they're still very possible for you, because they absolutely are. We're going to hop on over to the extended. This was focusing on what you need to know. The extended will be focusing on what you need to do right now to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Leo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Leo, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Leo.